Okay, so today I have with me a nice big slab of Chevron Amethyst from Halifax here in Nova Scotia. This is a very beautiful slab. It's about 8 inches on the long side, about 6 inches this way, 8 inches this way. Beautiful slab. In the shop lately, I have a drain hose that on my Cab King that's kind of down right now. I got to replace it, so I haven't been able to do any cabs or jewelry making or anything. I'll be up and running again pretty shortly, but as a result, I've been polishing some of my bigger pieces that don't fit on my Vibrolaps, and this is one of the pieces I was going to get to, and I thought in this video I would do another little pitch for this being a great alternative for someone getting into the hobby. I do have an alternate solution to this. This is kind of really archaic, I guess. This is not a, you know, ideal setup, but this is cheap and it works. There is a slightly better way to do this that is relatively the same cost and it's more legit. And I don't want to go into it now. I'm going to be making a video which I will describe this other method more. It's a tool that I found. I'll go into that more detail. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get one and do a review on it. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you that this is also a possibility, using a drill with these diamond drill pads that you can buy at your local hardware store. These are pretty common, actually. You could buy them online too on Amazon. You just search 4-inch diamond drill pads. You can use them wet or dry. Today I'm going to be polishing my nice Chevron Amethyst slab with this. I'm going to probably use this as a shelf piece. It's so nice. Terry had a huge chunk of this, and we cut it on the 24-inch Highland Park slab saw. I kept the slab off it. It's about an inch thick slab. And yeah, it's going to look great as a display piece. I just haven't decided. I'll probably polish both sides, honestly, because both, like, this side has a little more amethyst, but this has bigger surface area. So I'll probably do both. One thing I wanted to point out is that you can really, and this is like a kind of a pro tip, you can really save yourself when you're using these DIY methods with these pads. You can really save yourself a lot of time, especially on the grinding stages, by using a really nice blade that cuts very smooth, even cuts. You don't want to use a dull blade or something that's not meant to be cutting rock. This was cut on my 24-inch Highland Park slab saw. It's got a really awesome blade that cuts super smooth. Like, this is so smooth and no scratches or blade marks on it. I don't have to use my 50 grit, 100 grit, or 200 grit discs on this. I can go right to the 400 grit disc, which is a huge time saver. Huge. It's hours of time. And yeah, it's just so totally worth it. If you can get your process down to where you're cutting super smooth cuts, no saw marks, worthy of starting at the 400 grit, it's definitely a huge time saver. This will only take me an hour and a half tops now, whereas opposed to before, if I had to start 50 and grind away stuff, it would have been like 2 to 3 hours. So I'm cutting the time in half, pretty much, by having a nice smooth cut. So that's a pro tip for you. Always really worth getting quality saw blades to do some nice smooth cuts, get that nice, scratch-free surface, and yeah, it works really awesome. So let's go ahead and set up, and we'll start with the 400 grit because I cut this very smooth. So we're going to start with 400, and then we'll work our way up from there. Okay, so I'm going to start with my 400 grit pad, and I'm not marking any marks on the surface of this. Reason being is because this pretty much takes the scratches off really slow. I'm not going to need it. I'm using my experience to know when I've gotten the right polish. So what I'll do is I'll polish this. It's going to be a wet polish. I'll polish this, dry it off, look to see, I'll be able to see what areas need more attention, and once I'm happy that the scratches or the next phase is uniformly done, then I'll move to the next grit. So that's how I do this. From 400 will be the longest process, and then it speeds up every disc after that. So here we go. Alright, so I'm done the 400, and it doesn't really look much different than when I started, mostly because it was probably already at that grit. So now I'm going to move on to the 800. Basically, I basically know I'm done because I'm looking at it, reflecting the light off it, and I don't see any dulls. Like, really, on these surface polishes with these drills pads, you're going to get non-polished areas on the edges. So I'm just looking in the light to refract here, and I see that I'm pretty good. There's no really issues on the edges. Now, one thing I will say, I said there were no saw marks in this, but there is one saw mark right here. And not a big deal. It's on the white quartz, so it's not going to really show up much. It's really deep, and I'm not going to try to grind that out just for that one little spot, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm also polishing the other side. That side's wet because I just finished it. But yeah, I'm going to go to the 800 now, and then we'll take a look at the end of that stage. Right, so we've done the 1500 and got the light ring showing up there, getting that mirror shine starting to happen. This is taking a pretty good polish. Some bits are a little harder to polish than others, like the matrix is a little duller, but I think by the end, we're going right to 10,000, so I think by the end it's going to be pretty good. The quartz and amethyst are polishing up pretty nicely, so very happy about that. Off to the 3,000 now, and we'll check back in after that. Okay, this is after 3,000, and yeah, it's getting shinier. That host rock section is definitely getting a better polish. So we're going to move on to the 6,000 grit now. Only 2 stages left. And after the 6,000, we'll show you the result, and then we'll go on to the final stage, which is 10,000. Alright, 6,000's done, and we're starting to see now that the matrix and the amethyst and white are all getting the same shine. It's pretty much even now. So, yep, that final polish is about to come. Gonna go to the 10,000, and we should see the final result, so let's get to it. Okay, so there you have it. Final polish, mirror shine. This will be a shelf piece for sure in the display case that I will be making in the near future. And there's the other side. Polish the other side as well. Some really awesome details in there. You see, like, you know, there's banding in the quartz as well as the amethyst. Just a really cool specimen. This came off a larger round chunk. We also gave a big chunk of this to Highland Park, and we advised them that it would make probably a really spectacular sphere. So I'm hoping that they make a sphere out of it soon, and I can show them, or show you guys, the sphere that they made with it. But for now, this will just go on my shelf, and I'll be certainly happy to have it there. So with that, I want to wish everyone a great week. Hope the weather's good where you are. We just had a meter of snowfall here in Nova Scotia. Very unusual for us, so I'm sure it's going to melt soon because we usually get warm temperatures after we get snowfall. But hope the weather's great where you are, and hope everyone's having a great week. And we will catch you on the next one.